Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Old school tunes, old school joints, right? Man, it's sometimes you just got to get yourself in the mood for to discuss ENS, right? We discuss ENS on a daily basis. We're ENS maxes. We talk about this thing every day, and more importantly, is I think we're visionaries. I think everybody in this room right now has something special in them because we're able to see something that 99.9% of the population probably can't even fathom at this point, right? You know, crypto adoption is something that is still happening. People are still trying to fathom the idea of what is crypto. And now we're talking about a whole domain on top of crypto. There's a lot going on here. So if you're here and you might be beginner, a novice, or an expert, we don't judge, it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you this, if you're here, you're earlier than 99% of the human population. And that's a big statement to make, right? And that's not a light statement to make. And what that means is there's massive opportunity here for the patient. At least I believe so. If I didn't believe so, I wouldn't be doing this thing every single day. Now, the word of the day I want to mention is two. 2 seconds is the word of the day I want to mention, right? The other day, we seen a massive sweep of about 140, 150, whatever the number was. They swept the Dow, swept up KuCoin, whatever it was, swept up a massive amount of over 100 individual 4-digit ENS domains. They fractionalized them and they sold it out within 2 seconds, right? I think that is not something to take lightly. That is something huge. That tells me that other chains, other marketplaces, other people are going to see that formula and want to follow suit. This is not the first time we're going to see this, and this is not going to be the last time we're going to see this. They put out a blueprint. ENS digits have liquidity attached to them. We're seeing the 3 digits fly off the shelves right now, right? And we just seen 4 digits fly off the shelves just this weekend. So, man, what I want to say is buckle up. Seriously, 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 buckle up. I think we have a lot in store for us. I don't think we've seen anything near where where this thing is going potential wise. At least I think we've seen a glimpse, but I could definitely say exciting times ahead. There will be highs, there will be lows. Your conviction will be tested many times over the course of the next 36 to 48 months. Your conviction will be tested, but that's okay because it's just a test. But that being said, that's enough for me for the day. Ron, good morning. How you doing, man?
Hey, GM, everyone doing good, doing good. Yeah, it's funny how every day there's something to talk about. Have you noticed that? Every day since we've been doing this, I mean, there's just something, a little something happening in the ENS space every day, which kind of makes it fun. Don't forget what kind of market we are in the macro. Don't kind of even the crypto. We're still in a kind of a bad place, and but yet there's always something happening in ENS, and to me the digits, scarcity never goes out of style. With the I don't know what you call them, English digits or out Roman, whatever they are. They're the easiest for everybody to understand. They're the easiest to do the math on, and there's 1,000 of the 3 digits and there's 10,000 of the 4 digits. I think that's easiest for people to wrap their head around, and that's why I think that's going to always kind of lead the charge. Plus, I mean, right there, 51, 59, that's easy. Most people that have 4 digits, I remember them. Now, half of them change them right after I get them memorized. That's the problem with ENS is you get so many, it's easy to jump around. But yeah, I think I think those, I mean, I've long thought on the near term, the 4 digits are going to hit 10 ETH. Near term, I mean, the next, 6 to 12 months. Who knows? The 3 digits are super scarce. I mean, geez, you understand supply shock when people really start going after them. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun, like you say, Kev. We will be tested. We have been tested. I mean, since we've been doing this show, I think the four digits bumped up, almost bumped up against 3 ETH, and then they went all the way down to what, sub half ETH again a few weeks ago, and now they're at like 1.25. I mean, it just is what it is. But like you say, even as early as we are, the ENS were even earlier because when I told you on my trip, I think I've mentioned in one or two of the spaces since I've been back, when I talk to people who own a lot of Bitcoin and understand Bitcoin, when I tried to explain what I was doing with ENS, their eyes just glazed over like I was trying to pitch them Amway or life insurance or just the worst thing in the world, right? It's just, it's so early. It's so hard to understand. You start talking about .eth and you can explain it. People get the .com thing and it's been done and all that stuff. But anyway, it's early. We're really early. Don't anyone in here, even if it's your first day, ever hearing about ENS, don't think you're late. There's still some good things to mint. There's still good values, even on the four digits. I mean, honestly, if I owned 1,000 4 digits, I could sleep at nights, even if I bought them today. If I swept 1,000 4 digits or 10 or 103 digits, even at today's price, I would feel comfortable that there's some upside there. So yeah, but it's interesting. Good to be here. Look forward to today's conversation. And yeah, that's some good stuff. 150 of them get swept 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever it was, and then they sell those in 2 seconds. I think that's that's some pretty good demand right there.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with the demand part. And man, if I owned 1,000 four digits, I'll be probably one of the happiest people alive right now. But yeah, the demand is there, right? It's the liquidity is there, and that's one thing we always mention is that ENS is not a liquid market, right? The domain game is not a liquid game. But digits added liquidity to this market, and particularly four digits because the lower cost of entry. I think we all would want to get our hands on a three digit if we could, but it's going for a much higher premium, therefore leading the four digits to be the most liquid asset in all of VNS, I believe. But good evening, Master. How you doing, man?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, we all see the news about KuCoin launching the ENS related projects. It bought, 130 some, four digits and make it into a package and allow users to buy a percentage of the share to participate in the ENS digits. So yeah, this looks like something interesting, especially coming from an exchange. But my honest and sincere, suggestion to all you guys is do not participate. If you want to invest in ENS, buy some floor digits yourself. Don't participate in anything that's initiated by exchange from that, because everything under that exchange, it could be centralized. And when you mix the whole 134 digits together, and if it's controlled by some smart contract, even 1% of the share is is by someone else, then there's no one that have the very confirming ownership of this, which means it's very difficult. I don't think technically it will work for you to make any association or the those hash or changes on that, which means you cannot use it. And if it's just the asset and it's just the ownership of it, but there's nothing you can link to, then what's the value of these 134 digits? I don't see there's a value on that. But by doing so, it would be a bullish signal for ENS, overall. We know there's only maybe 10,000 four digits, and it's just like 130 being burned by them, which make the rest will be more valuable. Yeah, this is the first reaction from my side. So if anyone is interested in four digits of ENS, just keep watching the floor price and buy some floor yourself. KuCoin is doing so because in the traditional Web2 world, there are lots of people that they never heard of seed phrase. They don't know what is their decentralized wallet. They don't have it. They prefer username, password, and login with their email address, and they can retrieve everything via the customer support. There is still a big part of such people in the traditional, Web2 world. So yeah, this product can be something to accommodate those guys. But as we are all the audience here, we all have our own wallets. We all know how it looks like. We all made some harsh association to our names, and yeah, I think it's a bullish signal. But I don't think we will need to participate in it ourselves. Yeah, and also I don't think KuCoin doing it on good faith, because they spent something like 200 ETH in acquiring those 130 floors. They don't care the name itself. They just want to sweep some floor and make it to the overall quantity. Then has it make it to a package. There's a plan on that. But if you have such a budget to do that, why don't you acquire KuCoin.eth at first place, right? You listed the ENS coin for selling. You even make a package for some of the ENS domains for like tokenize and sell shares, and you don't even care about your name at all. That doesn't sound very logical to me. But comparing to the rest of a lot of the exchanges, they are already doing something very creative, very like innovation. So yeah, we can't judge them good or bad. But overall, to ENS general community, this is a great thing that happened today. Because they will use their communities, they will have their influence to let more people know what is about ENS. So for all the user name and password fans, they will have a place to buy it. But don't trust too much regarding they tell you it's sold in 2 seconds or what. I don't think maybe this is 100% convincing data. They can publish and announce whatever the results they want, and it's trading under the KuCoin platform itself. It's just like adding one more trading pair, like the ENS and slash USDT pair, something like that. So yeah, we all know that trading in centralized trading in CEX is a kind of risky, because they will have all the data, and they will determine everything. So that's why we try to go to DEX, try to not get too much money in the CEX. We want to deposit that into our own wallet. So that's another part I'm going to share with you guys. Let's stay tuned and see how this goes further. And yeah, I think today, looking at the numbers right now, we have 4,800 names to make it 2 million. So compared to yesterday, we have another little step, and I'm pretty sure by this time tomorrow, by our next space tomorrow, we will have the 2 million. And then we will rest assured for all the medias publishing and sharing and telling, and so that there will be inspiration for another group of guys, and we are expecting the incremental people to come in the game, and more people to give up, abandon their Web2 username and password login way and sign in with Ethereum. Lots of people will start asking questions about what is seed-phrase, how can I get a name, which wallet will be better. And when people start realizing the better way is to deposit their money from the CEX, the exchanges, into their personal decentralized wallet, that is some days, that is some moment that ENS got another level of the raise or the boost. So yeah, everything is on the schedule. We are just on a perfect roadmap on it. And yeah, let's maybe Kev, you should plan something for tomorrow if it's a 2 million day. Is there anything special, or yeah, how can we invite some more guests from the ENS community to make it a perfect one to celebrate the 2 million milestone? Yeah, thanks so much, guys.
Awesome. Yeah, I think tomorrow we'll hit 2 million, right? I think that's very possible, and it's crazy how we just hit a million, and boom, we're at two, and before you know it, I think we'll easily be at three before the end of the year, and that's just my prediction, right? And because it's Metcalf's law. It's when the snowball begins to form, right? It starts as a small object, and as it picks up steam, and as it continues to roll, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and faster. It gets bigger faster by the second. And I think that's exactly what's happening right here. We'll see. We'll see what we could do about the 2 million, for sure. Special space tomorrow. We'll see about that. NFC verse. Good morning, man. How you doing, bro?
Hey, GM the GM to the host, 5159. Thanks as always. Thanks for staying consistent, hosting the ENS update show, the best ENS show on the planet right now. Ron Eth, thanks for tapping in always as co-host. Glad to have you glad to have you back. Master, of course. Thank you for co-hosting also. And to the speakers on the panel, 0095, I see 0x Wizard, Crypto Reporter, PV5905. I think I see, I thought E Money was up there. But yeah, to the whole entire community who tapped in this morning, man, it's so much stuff. It's so much going on, man. We've been talking about this for a while now. And sometimes we may have to repeat ourselves. I said this before. Sometimes we may have to repeat ourselves because we're so deep into this thing. We've been doing it for so long now. It seems like, of course, not long as master, but we've been doing it a long time. And reiterating things is important because you never know who might pop into these spaces in the morning or whatever ENS space that we might have. Master, just so you know, I did tag KuCoin on a tweet that I did, and I asked them when KuCoin.eth. They need to get on that, man. I mean, hey, you can't be out here promoting, fractionalizations of digits and not even have your own .e. That's crazy to me. It almost thinks it almost makes me feel like it's a marketing campaign. But I'll leave that where it is. The other thing is, one thing that we got to think about too. And I was just, this morning when I got up, I was like, man, 2022, by the time we reach the end of 2022, I can say that everybody in this particular space has done mainly what they can to start to onboard people, to onboard companies, to onboard celebrities, to onboard influence or whatever. Everybody has done their part and will continue to do that throughout 2022. But let me tell you something, good faith onboarding in 2023 is going to look a whole lot different. And I'm just being honest, right? It's going to look different because there's going to be more players in this space. The amount of demand for the ENS domains is going to go up. The utility by the end of 2022 is going to be streamlined. It's going to be more. It's going to be more user friendly. The user experience is going to be different. So some of those people that you've reached out to early on, they're going to come back to you. And I say that to say that your price may be a little bit different than when you offered them in 2022. So I suggest that I'm just kind of hoping that some people start to realize the point in history where they're at, right? So they can take advantage of the opportunity of good faith onboarding. That's what I'm gonna call it, right? I'm gonna call it because I think that that's what it is right now. 2022 is good faith onboarding year. 2023 is, man, you should have good faith onboarding last year. That's kind of what that's going to be, the conversation. And that's just being honest because we have a long way to go, but at the same time the big boys are coming to the game right now. There's the big boys and the big girls are starting to step up, and they're coming in here and they're making plays and they're positioning themselves. All I'm going to say is, man, people better wake up, man, and get ready because this thing is you're gonna wake up one morning and it's gonna be like a landslide of people coming in here, man. Thanks, Kev, man. I look forward to the discussion today, bro.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think you made great points, right? With 2023 being the year of easy onboarding, real mass adoption, so forth and so on. But I want to say this, y'all. I do want to say this point, and then I'll pass it over to Crypto Reporter. Is guys, this is the reality of the situation. I don't want anybody here to be left behind, right? And it's easy that we get lost in this world of we're registering domains. We're registering domains every single day. At this point, I don't think there's anything much left to register. Probably is. We have to dig real deep to find those real hidden gems. But I just mean for the average person, it's hard to find a quote unquote gem at this stage of the game, right? We're almost reaching 2 million domains. Um, but be thoughtful of what is in my portfolio, right? And think who is the potential buyers of this domain in my portfolio, because truth is, I probably won't sell a lot of my domains, and you probably won't sell a lot of your domains. So, but we're still early enough. We're still early enough to where you have the opportunity to acquire some domains that will go for premium prices a little later down the line, for aka a 4-digit domain. Right now, 4 digits is probably going to dip a little bit. If you don't have a 4-digit domain yet, I suggest that you try to do what you could do to acquire a 4-digit domain. I think it's the lowest barrier of entry to something that has a lot of liquidity in it. But those are just my quick thoughts. Crypto Reporter, the stage is yours, man.
Hey, good morning, everybody. GM, GM 5159, GM to Ron, GM to Master, NFT Verse, 0x Wizard, 0095, E Money, Just Shills, I see you. Blackjack, I see you. Wow, Mafiko, I see you. Everybody else in the crowd, I'm sorry if I didn't give you a shout out, but these guys have definitely been here constantly, way longer than I have. But I'm just grateful to be a part of this. Touching on Qcoin, because I think, was it like last month that Qcoin actually entered into this space, right? I think we had like somebody from Qcoin actually enter into the space. And then a month later, they decided to scoop up all these digits, man. Good God. Good, and it just goes to show that we leave an impression here. Just the whole community rallying up. And this has all been done organically. But we touched on the fact that we're about to reach 2 million. Probably, I'm not even thinking by tomorrow. I'm thinking by like tonight, to be honest. Just the way things are going, but that's just me. Um, we have to start realizing that these aren't just domain names, right? We have to really think long term about this, because domains, there's only a certain people that actually like domain names. But I want to say at least like, well, here, let me try to phrase this. Everybody has an email, right? Everybody has a WeChat, an Instagram, or a Facebook. Somebody. I mean, there's probably that one guy under a rock that doesn't have anything. But you're thinking of not just a domain. You're thinking of a digital identity, and there are going to be far more people that will want a legitimate, just human readable, easy to remember digital identity than there are that people that just want a domain name. And so that kind of like brings that kind of like really shows how early we are in, because yes, there's 2 million registered, but I think there's still more grails out there, to be honest, because there's going to be, there's billions of people on the planet, and millions of people I know in the US have just one of these factors alone, a domain, a an email, some type of chat. Like there's a lot of people out there, and they're still not onboarded into the crypto community. So I think we are really early. I think that we're kind of underestimating the fact that people have still not, even in the crypto ecosystem, still don't have their digital identity. And so that gives me hope, really, that there's still some things that are left out there. But I'll
Oh
just
my
leave it
God, I
with.
want to explode. I love you, but I want to explode. I need to say something
Oh yeah, go
for
ahead.
real.
Go ahead.
There are combined like .com and .net, and those are just two top level domains, like over 170 million. So we're at 2 million now. The grails are the ones that are going to be built on, frankly. There's some collection and clean stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of really amazing properties to hold and bargain for, but the grails are going to be the ones that are built on. And there are only 2 million that we'll make up in a few hours. If we actually just sit here and start doing an ENS to 2 million drive, like, who's going to register the 2 millionth .eth? Like, why is, in fact, you know what? The DAO right now should have an event scheduled right about today that is, let's get to that 2 million and celebrate that, like in Twitter Spaces kind of event. To me, that's like low hanging fruit to make sure that we let everyone know that, yeah, it's early, but this is exciting and it's time to build on this stuff. So I just need to come in and say that. And that's just the .com and .nets. If you add all the other stuff that's been added TLD wise, there's much, much more. And like Cryptoverse was, Crypto Reporter was saying, I'm sorry, brother, this is not just about your arriving to a destination to go look at a web page or use an app. It's so much more than that. It's so much more than that. And I won't even get into it because this isn't my show, but I love y'all. Good morning.
No, it's all love, man. Because I feel the same way. Just diving into this. It's I'm the maxi now because there's something about this digital personal identity as self-sovereign that we're really just exploring these topics, and I just can't. I'm just glad to be part of the journey. So, but NFT verse, I see your hand is up. Yeah, I'll let you speak.
Yeah, man. Just kind of Ron, that post, I think it came from Bashara, originated from Bashara, if I'm not mistaken. But I did see that post of that chart with the count of the different, domain handles that are out there. And I had, posted, the little funny little Grim Reaper little meme out there, just as fun, for the community. But if we think about it, right, even if we only minted or registered as a whole entire community 2 million domains a year for the next 5 years, that's an additional 10 million domains added to the 2 million. Let's say we're at 12 million. We possibly bypass .org with that. And that's 5 years, guys. I mean, look at what we've done in the short amount of time that we've been in this space. So, I'm throwing out 5 years, right? We'll pass that. I think we're gonna hit 10 million easy in way less than 5 years. But just throwing 5 years out there and understanding how fast this thing is moving and how fast that is growing, we're going to be able to move past .org in a matter of a couple of years, guys. That is huge. That's huge. I don't know if anybody's looking at it that way, but that's the way I look at it.
Guys, real quick, I just wanted to touch base on the KuCoin the KuCoin pickup of those 4 digits. I don't think it was actually KuCoin, but if you look into it, it was a project. I think it's through KuCoin called Fracton Protocol, and they've been the ones that are doing like the fractionalized bases and CryptoPunks on KuCoin. Their tokens are rocking like 80 cents right now. It's like 2 million in circulation. But you're going to find a lot of grails on the registry. I just picked up Slim Jim last night. There's a whole bunch of ones that I have favorited, guys. You got to peep it, man. You got to peep it, guys.
And you know what? Being that you picked up Slim Jim is pretty active on Twitter. They're pretty active. They're pretty they like to be engaged with the community and the meme culture out there. I wouldn't be surprised if they approach you sooner or later with you scooping that up.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they pick it up either. They claim that they're from the metaverse or the metaverse, but they don't have their own ENS domain, so I don't think that's true.
Yeah, great snag, man. I think that's a good snag, especially if they're making claims like that. I think, listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's a matter of time, right? The patient will win. It's a matter of time. I'm not going to keep beating the dead horse with all the integrations and all the evolution that is happening right before us, right? And you go back to 2015 or 2014, around that, maybe a little bit before that, you could even post a video on Instagram, right? You could have been posting a video on Instagram just a couple years ago. It was all pictures, and now you go on that platform and it's videos, it's reels, it's evolution of technology. If you think things are going to stay the same 5 years from now, you're delusional. Don't fade what's happening. Don't fade what's going on. This is the evolution of crypto wallets being massively adopted. That's my one thesis in my one thesis only. Do you believe over the course of the next 10 years, there's going to be more people using crypto wallets than are using today? If the answer to that question is yes, to you, then without a doubt, ENS domain will rise in value tremendously over that same course of period of time. Why is more people going to be using crypto wallets? Because it's becoming integrated with day-to-day society. But let's go over to OX. We got a couple with a hand up. OX, PV, then we'll go to Tim Brown.
So real quick, just on the KuCoin thing, the other important thing to look at is the fact that these domains are now considered an asset class at that level of the exchange. So as normies or developers and stuff, yeah, I don't put any, like, I follow master's advice on that side. Go get your own, even off secondary. That's the way you want to play it. But there are a bunch of folks who won't need to do wallets and have a bunch of liquidity that they want to pump and put into things that they believe are safe plays. And these numbers being locations, in the real metaverse, are really, to me, a really cool play. But anyway, just that.
Yep. Thank you. I agree. Let's go over to PV.
What's happening, fam? Just chilling. I just want to let you know that if you don't have your app to buy NES on your phone or anything on demand, you're losing, man. I appreciate you guys' knowledge, man. Every day I'm buying or looking for a new type of domain that I hear here. It's amazing what the utilities that domain have, man. I'm super stoked about this. I am super blessed to be a part of this group since the beginning, man, to be a part of all this knowledge. And like you said, man, all of us here, I know for sure, if we're buying right now, we're gonna make something out of this, man. And just patience is the key here, man. Don't think you're gonna make a quick buck right now. You know what I mean? All you have to is just make sure that you have enough money to re-register them again. Don't get overcarried with buying too much and you can't afford it. But on the other hand, man, I love you guys all. Thank you for the space, man. Keep rocking. Every day we're here. If you have a question, guys, if you're new in here, please ask. You're here. No question is dumb question here, guys. So feel free to ask. Man, thank you, guys.
Thank you, PV. True student to the game. This man has been hungry and learning since the very beginning. So excited to see that, man. Tim Brown, what's up, bro? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Hope you are also. But I'm new in here and just I've seen the .eth domains and vaguely seen ENS, and I am curious to know top level what the excitement is and what I really need to be excited about with this, because it sounds like a couple people were almost on the brink of tears and emotion about how excited they are with what's going on here. So I'm just curious, what it is that I really get with this. I understand the internet boom when people were buying domains in the past. Is there something that goes beyond that with what ENS is doing? What's that look like?
That's actually a really, really good question, right? For someone who's trying to wrap their heads around this. But we do have some phenomenal speakers on stage. If I'll let somebody else take that one. NFT verse. I think NFT verse could do a good job responding to that. If you want to take that one, bro.
Yeah, let me see if I can try to sum it up. Tim, number one, thanks for hopping on this morning, man. We appreciate you coming in here, man. We do this every morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But to kind of touch on some, kind of what's the excitement about with ENS. I think that it's part of the evolution when we start going from Web 2 to Web 3. If you see up there on the speaker panel, you see Ron .eth, rm1.eth. Ron was one of those guys that was actually caught the wave of the .com run early on. And he's been in this space, ever since the beginning, kind of letting us know some of the similarities of what happened during that .com run and why he was able to get in early and capitalize. So we get an understanding from that perspective, and then you have Master up there as the other co-host. Master was early on in this Web3, this ENS or this .eth evolution of the Ethereum blockchain. He gives us that perspective, and when you put those two things together and you see the similarities, you have to understand where are you at in history right now, right? There's a paradigm shift that's happening from Web 2, which is the .com era, like Kev kind of touched on, the continuous evolution of these social media platforms and any type of industry tools that are out there. They're continuing to develop. They're continuing to make the user experience a lot more clear, a lot more engaged. So what we're doing here is that we're helping people understand what ENS does and how that plays a role, based on the Ethereum blockchain framework. So ENS is that human readable domain. So when you have wallets out there, Tim, you have all of these wallets that have these long addresses, right? OX 1,000 letters and numerical, out there, right? So what the Ethereum or the ENS domain does, it shortens that. It makes it human readable, like timbrown.eth, right? Now you can use timbrown.eth and replace that 0x long Ethereum address and be able to now transact and communicate with people, especially if you accept crypto for any of your services that you provide. You can say, hey, we'll send it to timbrown.eth, right? And that'll go through that pretty much that transaction. Along with having timbrown.eth, what ENS does, unlike the .com, is that you're going to be able to build an ecosystem up under timbrown.eth, right? Let's just say, for instance, you have speaking engagements and events, right? You'll be able to use what's coming down the pipes later on this month is a name wrapper. A name wrapper is a subdomain where you're able to build subdomains and build your ecosystem under timbron.eth, where you can have, a particular ticketing system where you would actually incorporate a prefix prior to timbrown.eth, like, maybe you do smith.timbrown.eth or tickets. Let's just say tickets.timbrown.eth, where then you can issue people or they can go purchase tickets and send money to tickets.timbrown.eth. So what that's doing is that it's allowing you a little bit more flexibility to be able to have a contained ecosystem up under your brand. You can issue out NFTs if you want to do an NFT and or a particular you know the document or something that you wanted to have that to provide everybody who participated in the event. If they too have .eth addresses, you can send it to their .eth address. Or if you wanted to gift them a subdomain based off of your root domain, timbrown.eth, you can do that, and you can do that for your whole entire ecosystem, and then you'll have that contained where you guys can transact, do charity donations. You can build a charity wallet off of charity.timbrown.eth. That is only the beginning. So we're just kind of, it's the tip of the iceberg. So like Kev said, things continue to develop in this space. They continue to grow. So the evolution of the .eth, we're so early. We're just seeing the beginning integrations, the beginning evolution of it as it goes. So I think you're here early enough, Tim, to be able to take part in this and understand and stay engaged and connect with people in this community that are builders in here, that are building Web3 websites up under their .eth domains. They're building all types of tools and services. Man, it's early. So think about if you would have been able to catch that .com wave early on, and understand how it was being built, this is the position that you're in right now, in my opinion, with .eth, if that helps.
It does. It does. I appreciate that. So the whole idea of the ecosystem is super cool. Um, okay, that makes sense. And do you know if they happen to ever plan? I know it probably doesn't really benefit the company to make these domains to offer lifetime purchases, because I would hate the idea of building an ecosystem and then all of a sudden I don't get the reminder and then my domain is gone, like it happened on the .com side. So do you know if that's even on the horizon at all? Any consideration to that?
Oh, you know the best part about that? Sorry to interject. Anybody can update your expiration date. So there could be a good Samaritan out there that just drops, some coin to make sure that your expiration doesn't go. But yeah, that does exist.
Yeah, Tim, and it's $5 a year. So for $500, you can register it for 100 years. So that's on anything 5 digits or higher. So yeah, you don't really need to worry about that. And also, we kind of explain it as a domain. But really, the domain is kind of the least important thing it does, because it can be your online identity. It kind of potentially could replace your .com, your email, your every login you have, your all your usernames, your social security number, your telephone number, your bank account. I mean, it does a lot of different things. And I don't know how deep you are into crypto, but I mean, it basically harnesses all the power of the blockchain, decentralization, censorship resistance, permissionless, and all the power of NFTs, all in one. And it's all run by a DAO. It's 5 years old. I mean, it started in 2017. So we all of us in here believe that .eth is truly the next .com, and on literally on steroids. So yeah, we believe it's and I've been in the crypto space since 2011, full time since early 2017, and I truly believe this potentially one of the biggest killer apps there is, and one of the best opportunities. And when we started this space, in the spring, there wasn't even close to 1 million domains, and today we're going to hit 2 million domains. So we are really the biggest kind of community in all of crypto and all of NFTs. So it's even being new and just understanding it today, there's a lot of opportunity here.
Okay. I really appreciate that. And my last question, and I'll step down. Is the DAO closed for new members or participants?
Well, you can buy the ENS tokens. There is an ENS. That's ENS is the token that you can still buy and participate in that. I think it's like $15 today, but no. So it's all a decentralized DAO, and anyone can take part. So yeah, buy ENS tokens, and it's as DAO goes, it's a pretty cool, and that's great, because we're not going to have, like, with the ICANN and stuff, you're not going to have people taking your domains. It's truly decentralized.
Okay. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick, man, that's a great question, and I'm pretty sure every speaker on this stage will probably answer that question a little bit differently and bring a unique perspective to why they're excited about this, where the vision, where the future is going into this thing, right? Man, because we all look at it a little bit differently, but we all share a common vision. Ultimately, before I go to ENS Punks, Mafiko, I seen you recently tweeted your that diagram. If you want to bring that up real quick, I'm not sure if that what you had your hand raised for.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, I was just gonna say thanks, Tim, for the question. Great question, and I think often with this space, our community here, we're credit to Kev, Master, Ron, NFTverse. You built a really strong community over the past couple of weeks, and so a lot of familiar faces. So it's nice when you get somebody who's not familiar here, and we sort of all have to take a step back and really go down to the basics of explaining exactly what it is ENS is. So thank you for coming through, Tim. I just tagged you in a diagram I created a couple of weeks ago, describing a little bit in what providing a bit of a detail around what are the typical use cases of .eth assets right now, and that ranges from very basic level, it being like a flex as something that people sort of identify with in their kind of identity and their branding, as a form of payments. And NFTverse talked about that in terms of facilitating easier payments. There we're starting to see as well sort of ENS people using .eth names to form communities. So you'll notice a couple of us here, Tim, have like digits is our ENS .eth name. And so there's a 10K club, basically digits ranging from, I forget the ranges, but basically 10,000 different .eth assets that or digits, and there's a community that's formed around that. And that's just one of many communities that are now springing up around this. And then you also have, in terms of people, yeah, as I mentioned, identity and other bits and pieces around actually using your .eth asset or name to sign into different services going forward. So you can see that it's much more than a .com. .com was primarily for people who are interested in business, primarily people who are entrepreneurs themselves, but .eth is something that everybody can have access to. Everyone will see value in. It's a username, it's a name. It can be for business. It can be for just yourself, for your identity. It can be for your family. It can be for to provide a name for a specific wallet or address, or so many different use cases. And so that's why we are all really bullish about it, really excited. And the fact that we're about to hit 2 million, man, that's phenomenal given where we are, given where we've come from, and especially in the bear. So shout out to everybody, and yeah, thanks Kevin and for the crew having me up.
Yeah, awesome. And right before I go to ENS Punks, I do want to say, yeah, you make great points, Mafika. I think .com, who owns a .com in this room, right? I'll probably say, if I could predict, probably less than half the room would owns a .com right now, right? I'm pretty sure some of us do, or some of us have, but probably right now, if I could predict, probably only about 40% maybe owns a .com in this room, if that, right? I think .eth is more personable. It's .coms is for advertisements, if you want to display something, if you want to showcase a product, or so forth and so on. The .eth, I think, is going to be every social media user, every user who has a social media account today, all of Instagram users, all TikTok users, YouTube users, Twitter users. I think that is the target market of everyone who could potentially own a .eth in the near future. But let's go to ENS Punks. He's been waiting very patiently. What's good, bro?
Yo, GM Kev, Ron, Master, the rest of the speakers, and then, of course, can't forget all the listeners in the community that are in the house with us every day. Tim Brown came up, asked some good questions, fantastic responses, and I was kind of watching him throw up the emojis as, he's getting answers from the NFT verse and Ron. So it was like it was a good active listener. I could tell certain things were resonating, and that's how it's like I'm going to sort of reframe my approach when I try to onboard people, is like, well, there's certain things that are going to resonate with everybody. And so I'm going to kind of maybe touch on some of that stuff, put it in the broader picture, what's going on with KuCoin, and then transition a little bit, finally kind of maybe talk about one of my projects, my PFP and my banner a little bit. And so it kind of starts off with like NFT versus saying, right, human readable addresses. I mean, that's it, So Tim, if I were to, want to send you some coin right now, the natural question would be, what's your address? And like NFT versus, you're not going to be able to tell me. They don't even call it human speakable addresses. They call them human readable addresses. That's how difficult it is to work with the existing Ethereum wallet addresses. They're so difficult. We don't even say, oh, it's human speakable. We're talking about human readable. Like, if you don't have the NFT verse .eth, good luck telling me 0x, then your string of, letters and digits. it's going to get lost, it's going to get confused. And that is kind of the idea of human readable addresses. And also, to Ron's point, identity. Oftentimes we call them ENS domain names, but the idea of a website, it's probably secondary, ironically, to the main purpose, and that is identity, and that's wallet addresses. The other big issue there is it's not just wallet addresses. It is identity, and it is when we're talking about these strings of letters and numbers, we're not just talking about our wallets. We're talking about we're talking about every single NFT. We're talking about every single smart contract. Everything is going to have a name. So that's when we start talking about subdomains, when we're no longer talking about changing up our wallets to a human readable address. We are talking about changing assets to human readable addresses. We are talking about changing not just the assets, but the smart contracts themselves as human readable addresses. It's going to get to the point where transactions, those TX hashes, are human readable addresses. And you cannot do that. Like when we talk, for a decade now, we've been talking about IoT, the Internet of Things, where everything, you look around your kitchen in the household, every single appliance is going to be connected to the internet. Your smart refrigerator is going to be ordering food before you run out. It's going to tell you your milk has gone bad. It's going to do these things on your behalf. And the reason that the adoption has been slow to Internet of Things is partly because DNS cannot handle the Internet of Things. It cannot handle that type of naming service. There is essentially and effectively one protocol, and it happens to be a decentralized protocol, which is fantastic. And it happens to be one we're all part of and speaking about right now. Our guy who, we haven't seen him much recently. It's a shame, but LZN, he wrote up a article that got published a couple months back. And he did a fantastic job of describing that particular use case of being able to name everything. So, you just picture those cargo ships that are coming over from, China or any other country in the world where, U.S. imports manufactured goods. We are not talking about every single cargo container being connected. We're not talking about every single box in that cargo container being connected. We are talking about every single product in every single box in every single container, every single ship being connected to the Internet of Things, being named on, it's going to be on ENS. That's what it is. And so I sort of trying to keep it all in line and keep it moving, switch gears. Oftentimes what we talk about in the DNS world is the total number of domains that have been registered, right? Yeah, whatever. Sometimes we say it's 150 million. I think, a figure I'm looking at right in front of me is in 2020, there's about 260 million unique registered domain names. And it's tiny. It's small. And everybody's got to realize that. One of the funny things is, even when you look at that number, 70% of those DNS names are parked, meaning they're not used for a website, they're not used for an email service, they are not used. When you look at ENS, make no mistake, that's probably going to be the case as well, but they will actually be used because they will be naming assets, they will be naming contracts, they will be naming wallets. Like Ron said, the domain part, which is the main part of DNS, is going to be and is the small part of ENS. That is the use case. Everything will be named. Everything will be named on chain. And that is the role that ENS is going to fill. So that said, how is that going to be done? Everybody's gone to register some grails. They think of a great name. I was going to register TimBrown.eth for our guy who came up and asked the question, and unfortunately it was taken. And I always love to check out that wallet. Like, let me see who got this. Let me see what the prospects are of our man Tim Brown being able to acquire this name. And the guy, whoever it is, got vodka Red Bull .eth. He's got some funny ones. So anytime you see some funny names, you think, oh, that guy's got a good sense of humor. Maybe if I reach out, I'll be able to work something out with him when I kind of can show that I am who I say I am, and there's a good reason I want this. So get what you can, Tim, and, don't be afraid to reach out. You can put it all together. You can find the owner, you can DM them privately and try to get something done. And I hope you can do that. It's a fantastic name. If you look in the old enspunks.eth wallet, you'll see a very similar name anyhow. So strong name. And then, I do want to talk about KuCoin a little bit. This idea, I'm sort of right on board with what Master had to say. Like, look, what did they do? They bypassed their own identity, right? Maybe they do own something, but as far as we know, they don't own KuCoin.eth. As far as we know, they don't have an alternative that they're using, at least to show the community, hey, we believe in ENS. We, are going to represent our identity, our Web3 identity, even in these Web2 spaces like Twitter. And honestly, that's what we want to see. What they did, they scooped, I think it was pointed out, not necessarily them, but, another company scooped up these 100+ 4 digits, and it takes away those identities. I'm the first person to say I love fractionals. I'll touch on that a little bit, but they took away these, 100+ 4-digit identities. They fractionalized them, and they, took their coin and they put it on an exchange. I'm the first person to always say, when we talk about fractionalization, look at likebutton.eth, right? I wrapped it in a smart contract. I minted the hearts, the emoji hearts as fractionals. You own those hearts. You own that percentage of likebutton.eth. That's fantastic. But the use case is there, right? It is, non-commercial, which it doesn't have to be non-commercial, but the idea is it serves a use. Let's stop using these centralized like buttons. Let's stop giving, Web2 our data that they're going to take and they're going to sell to the advertising companies, and they're going to just continue to monetize us. We can give ourselves decentralized likes now. I know that's unrealistic, but it opens up the conversation. That's what it's about. Here, it's sort of like, let's just take these identities off the market and then let's fractionalize them and then let's speculate. I get it. 4 digits are hard to afford at this point. At least maybe people can get exposure, but that's not it. That is not the game. We're not talking about, making a couple dollars. We are talking about building the future. And, I'd like to see some utility built on it. And so that'll bring me to my last point. I've been rocking the new PFP. I got the new banner. I brought it up in one of the Queen spaces. So shout out to Drownin, who did a space recently. A lot of the focus was on subdomains. Everybody's fired up about subdomains. We've seen, as we get closer and closer to the subdomains, more and more, I don't necessarily want to call them outsiders, but people who are not involved with the day-to-day, building of the community are coming in, and, they're just kind of releasing these products. Touched on KuCoin, what's being done there. We know the other ones. They're just coming in, and people have sat in the spaces. I've heard people say it. Well, they don't even seem to have ENS names themselves. They're wanting to sell us, stuff. And they can't even answer the most basic questions about ENS. And it's like, it's a give and, take. We want this thing to grow. We don't want people to just jump in and take advantage of the community. From what I see, that's not going to happen. The community's strong. The community's knowledgeable. The community's focused on building. And so I like what I'm hearing. I don't, I like the fact that, look, there's these potential money-making opportunities, but people are sort of ignoring that and focused on the more important things of building the community and building, period. And it's like you could not ask for anything more from the community. And so, yeah, finally kind of coming back to my PFP, I'm going to be launching a project, and it is going to have everything under the sun. It's like putting it all together. And the idea really is education, onboarding, and it's like where kind of I hear the community's objections to these other projects where it's sort of like no utility, no understanding, no actual like usage and adoption. Well, that's like the antithesis of what we've been building. Everybody in my project, the devs, the artists, have all come from the community and just rallied around this idea I had. I can't say enough about them. We will, I'm sure, have a space dedicated to it. So I don't want to eat up too much time. But, we are going to have a 10K Club subdomain built off of boardensyachtclub.eth. These things, the idea is actually, when we mint, the vast majority of the mint funds are going to go to a community treasury that are going to be converted. And here we go to, something that was the third question to Tim Brown about the ENS token, about the DAO. We're going to convert a vast majority of the mint to ENS tokens so the 10K Club can vote. So we can onboard people to ENS DAO. We can inform them of what's going on in the DAO, and they can effectively vote as a community and have a large voting block. That's just one part of it. Not only is it going to be one subdomain, we have not seen this yet in these subdomain projects. We're going to name bound boardensyachtclub.eth. That's so long, who the hell is really going to use, 69.boardensyachtclub.eth? Well, how about this? It's going to be name bound. So name bound is basically the same thing as soul bound. It's going to be soul bound to other ENS names that are shorter. Ben Sick, that's that Bake, that Board Ape Yacht Club. Bake is Board ENS Yacht Club, Ben Sick. And so you're actually going to have multiple subdomains. You sell one subdomain, the others go with it. You modify one subdomain, the other subdomain records get updated with it. And then, we're also going to have fractionals. Again, the idea is education, onboarding people. So you're going to see everything from soulbound, namebound. You're going to see one part I skipped was each of these subdomains is going to have its own subdomain website. So, you get that 69.bensick.eth. You can go to that and you're going to have an automatically generated decentralized website that shows all the fractionals you own in the club, your voting rights, et cetera, et cetera. So, I just, I love the questions Tim Brown asked. And I really do appreciate the community stepping up. You can tell how passionate they are between the NFT verse and Ron, wanting to answer those questions, giving fantastic responses, seeing the reaction from Tim. And you could tell he's excited. I get excited when I hear it, and I've been around for a while. And so, it also, again, just double down on it. The way the community's responded to seeing other people just kind of come in and sort of wanting to unroll projects without really becoming a part of the community. I like that, because it's not like excluding anybody. It's more saying, look, we're here. We, become part of the community. It's the same thing with KuCoin. It's like, I don't hear people objecting to it. I hear them saying, invest in us. And that's not even affecting us personally, materially. It's just encouragement that, look, for us to support you, you got to support ENS. You got to get your identity. You got to show us, you are legit, you're real. And, this is not just a one-off money-making opportunity. And so, the community response is fantastic.
Oh shit, my bad. Yeah, man. Wow. Thank you, ENS Punks. That was a lot. I think you made a great statement with the last one with KuCoin that resonated well. It's never. It doesn't even personally. Well, it personally benefits the one who owns KuCoin.eth, but I think the biggest thing there is invest in the community. Let's go to Just Shields. The stage is yours, man.
Hey, brother Kev, man. First of all, just wanted to double check. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yeah.
Awesome, Kev. Well, first of all, man, just wanted to say thank you for hosting this amazing place, ENS Updates. This is definitely something for myself. I call it the breakfast of champions, and you get to hear such legends speak here. So, man, just can't enough thank you for everything that you do. Special shout out to Ron, Master, Enos Punks, the NFT Worst, man. NFT Worst, man. I really love how you uh, put everything together, man, and especially your Enos Fridays, man. It definitely allows me to sit back and relax. And for those who have not checked it out, you definitely got to check it out. There were a lot of great pointers here mentioned today, but one thing that resonated me the most was the ENS domain's 2 million registrations. And I think someone here mentioned that this is probably one of the biggest milestones achieved yet, and so much more to be achieved. So what I did was I kind of created a tweet as this was all going on, because I feel like the visionaries believe in what's going to happen, and continue to move forward in that direction, and I absolutely know this is going to happen. So thanks to everybody's suggestion and feedback, I created a tweet, and this is the movement for the 2 million ENS domain registrations. I think this is one of the biggest history in the making, because anything here onwards would just double dip the impact. So whatever it took us X amount of time, this will literally half in what will happen in the future. So, I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be part of such a legendary moment. That's going to make changes not just to an average person, to actually a lot of businesses to come, and make things so much more convenient for them. So, definitely, guys, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's absolutely a pure pleasure. And I'm not sure, 5159, if I have the permission to pin it, or you can pin it yourself, or NFT works either way.
Yeah, you could pin it, bro. All good, man.
Thank you, guys. And what I'd really appreciate is the minute I go ahead and pin it, as this space is happening, we can multitask by giving it a quick comment, love, retweet, tag people out. So this way we can go ahead and share the space with others and let those know that what's about to happen. That this is one of the biggest movements that's ever going to happen in the history, and we actually get to be part of it, and let allow others to also be part of the movement. Let them feel special. So thank you for allowing me to pin it. Just shows always likes to do the things where we're able to grow together, and to be able to do it the right way, which is the ethical way. Thank you once again, Kev.
Yes, sir. Let's keep it moving right along, y'all. All good, brothers. We'll go to Crypto Reporter. Crypto Reporter, what's good, bro?
Hey everybody, I just wanted to real quickly add to what ENS Punks was saying. I believe that you know we have to build upon these things in order for them to actually have and hold true value. So I've been luckily having the ability to work with people within inside this actual ecosystem, and to be able to help build out you know whatever project or whatever thing that they're doing. And I think it's really beneficial, because then they can actually see the true value of these things. Real quick shout out to Gary. I was able to help co-host the space with him yesterday, so that was amazing. He gives out a lot of good information, and it was actually due to that space, or we found out that people from the ENS DAO are actually looking at the project ENS Vision. So I thought that was pretty amazing. But I'm kind of in the middle of something, so I'm gonna yield the floor. But thank you guys once again. I'm gonna step down now.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, man. We just brought up James Swift to the stage not so long ago. James, how you doing, man?
Hey guys, I'm doing great. A lot of food for thought in the discussion. I wanted to add something, which is we talked about five solid value propositions, right? For ENS, like you've got the flex, you've got the ability to send, receive value, you have communities, you have identity, and you have single sign-on. The question I want to put out there and for us to really kind of think about is what is the impetus, what is the rationale that someone, whether it's a company or high net worth individual or whoever, is going to pay a lot of money for a great ENS domain or asset. So, for instance, let's say I'm a content creator and I have like thousands of subscribers, and my name is Bob Smith, right? So of course I can't get bob.eth. I may not even be able to get bobsmith.eth, but I could do my middle initial, right? I could do Bob L Smith.eth. I could probably just register that, right? I can still send receive value. I could put that in my profile. People can send me crypto through that. It could be my identity. I could do single sign on with it. Like, the question I want to really throw out there is, if you had to really distill, why will someone pay 6 figures, 7 figures? What's that burning platform? Because, like, think about how you use the web now. Like, we use like a million different things, but how many of them do we pay for, right? Like, how many paid subscriptions do we use compared to the total available product services that we use, right? Like, like, it's really hard to get people to pay for things. So just, something to think about. Would love to hear what you guys think.
I don't hear nobody unmuted. I'm not sure if I'm wrong, but man, I don't agree at all. Like, it just depends on the individual. Like, certain people know how to make people pay for their subscriptions. Like OnlyFans people, whatever. Like, cool people know how to make people pay. If you know how to provide value, so that's definitely wrong. It just depends on like the individual. I'm cooking, but all right, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too, James. I think you got to look at it in the perspective of, as things start to really evolve into this space, where does the user experience go, right? From Web 2 to Web 3. Are people able to be a little bit more engaged? Does that help the subscription experience, right? So you think about, if I have a Netflix account, and Netflix were to get, Netflix.eth, and they were to build their ecosystem of all of their subscribers, be able to get, the certain NFTs minted out for new releases, on certain things that they drop on the Netflix platform, certain giveaways that they can conduct, via the via the .eth that they hold. I think there's so many more things that, or even in the metaverse, right? Even in the metaverse, as they start to build out. NY718, can you mute, please?
Sorry.
Yeah. Um, so these are the types of things you got to think about, James. Or the way I think about them is that, it's a lot to be seen, and it's a lot that we have to kind of experience, when it comes to subscribing. The companies out there who are looking to build on their subscribers, and provide a better experience for them. And I think that the metaverse, is going to provide that, or Web3 is going to provide that. I think it's just, we've yet to see it just yet because it's so early, but I believe that the user experience is going to continue to widen, at a certain time.
Right, and just to clarify a little bit, so let's say I have a 6 figure budget to spend on an ENS name. What would you believe is like the one reason I would spend that on, say, bob.eth? Um, is it the flex? Is that the main reason? Is it, I do a lot of business in the creator economy, and I need something that people are not going to mistake when they type in. Just what's the rationale?
I think you have to think about, well, what does Bob represent? Before he even, that particular, he or she being the purchaser, want to do with that particular domain. Is it the Bob out there who just has money to throw around, or is it the Bob out there that's building a company and an ecosystem, and they want to be a part of Web3, and they have a plan in place? I think there's different types of Bobs that can come to the game, that have a passion behind that particular, that domain, or that registration, to understand and have a plan of what they want to build. So if you got 6 figures out there that you have ready to go, it depends on who that Bob is and what they're going to decide to do with that particular domain. How passionate are they about acquiring that particular asset?
I was going to add too, if I may, that to what he just said, it comes down to branding for some people as well. And I know you mentioned $100,000 budget, but there are people that may have some of these domains that it may not take that much to acquire it. So even as an individual, I could see if I'm trying to build something based on what I understand at this point with what's going on. And even from the .com side of it, just the fact that you might want to have that to protect your brand. You might want to have it to protect your potential customer base, because if you do have a thriving business already, then it seems like it opens the door for people to use your name as a way to siphon funds from your customers. So I can see a great benefit for someone, especially with all that it provides access to what I've learned to this point, for someone that has deep pockets to go in and get it. Um, yeah, I can see it making sense.
Hey, can I pop in?
Yo, James, you got bro schooling you. He just got in here like one day. That's crazy.
Hey, I just wanted to add on to that. First time speaking, and I'm happy you guys allowed me to speak, and that you guys do this every day. This is NY718. And I would say also, when it comes to, let's say, influencers, and again, this is to touch on what James was talking about. Influencers, you have a lot of people that they look for everything for free. But then you have a lot of more professional people that pay for. There's things that I pay for and I want to pay for, and there's other things that doesn't have too much value to me that I won't pay for. But if you're in a professional arena, you more so want to pay for things. And let's say being an influencer, for example, on Instagram, there's equity in having a cool name or a cool .eth name. Another thing in terms of companies, it's also, and someone just mentioned defensive. I think Tim said it. It becomes an asset. Someone posted in Twitter like 2 months ago, Bank of America, and they had a list of domain.coms that Bank of America owned. There were thousands of them. It floored me, and I've been collecting ENS or .eth since last year, and I never even thought about that. So corporations owning, it's common for them to own hundreds to thousands. One, yes, they are assets for them. It is a defensive thing as well, and it's also becomes a liability, as well, if they don't own, let's say, a Bank of America, not owning Bank of America .eth. If you have nefarious people, trying to use that .eth, to spam or send emails and try to get people to send money, it becomes a large liability for large corporations, but just for individuals as well. When you're a professional, you want to pay for certain things because there's equity, especially with Web3. It's going to be 10 times more important, in the metaverse and in Web3, having a significant, cool, short, easy to remember name. So absolutely, there's going to be, tons of people wanting to pay it. And in my opinion, this is going to be 1,000 times bigger than .com, because you're not just talking about companies. You have individuals and billions of people as they become onboarded to the crypto and Web3. It's going to take time, but 1,000 times more valuable than what .com was.
Yeah, really good points, everybody. And also thank you for the great question. And it actually it's a question that, so just a bit of a background. Before I got into sort of the .eth space, I used to, and I still do, grow rare plants, like not marijuana or anything, but like actual rare tropical plants that often come from like places like Ecuador and the like. And the interesting thing with that is often people would ask me like, so what is the value of buying this? Like, why would people buy these plants? And these plants, range from between $500 US to, at the upper range, like 15,000 US. And it's one of those things I think with all hobbies, all pursuits, and all kind of things. It's people buy for very different reasons, and I like to think of ENS similar to plants. Like you're buying a car. You know, a car has a lot of utility. You could buy a car for purely to flex with it, and you know you're cruising, or you actually have a business idea in mind, and that car is going to serve the purpose for you to actually do deliveries or get to and from places. So as to why people would spend that kind of money on a .eth asset, it really depends on where they're at. There'll be those sort of people with a lot of money that would want to be seen as being like early or proficient in this space, and will pay for the privilege of owning Bob.eth because it signifies that, wow, either they have money, and also that they're early to this space and like they know what they're doing in the .eth space. And there'll be others like brands who will be like, I need that branding name because we're thinking about launching a metaverse play or something of that kind of nature, and that would make sense for them. Personally, for me, when I got my .eth name, I just wanted it personally for my identity in this space, because it's my last name, and I want to just be identified as Mafiko. That's who I am, and that's what I'm known for. And so that's why I bought mine. But I think everyone will have slightly different reasons for buying. At the upper range, though, I think it becomes more around if you're really, really super wealthy, either as a flex, or you're thinking about building it out into something, or as an investment option. Bob.eth, right? That's an asset that will accrue in value if Web3 continues to develop. And so that could be worth a significant amount of money over the long term. Again, all speculative, but there's an investment thesis there that you could make and argue that Bob.eth will gain value over time.
Wow, guys, I think you guys all make great points, great discussion, great perspectives. Master, did you want to say something?
Yeah, thanks, man. I think one thing to add from my perspective, whether or not how much this name will be sold by whom, really it depended on, whether or not that rich guy, that one who has a requirement, has an alternative. So if they think this is too expensive, for example, they meet some domains that they meet some, diamond hand guys that he won't set the price lower than $1 million, for example. Then what is their alternative? And then learn each alternative and see how likely the buyer is going to go through, so it's like crypto, like Solana. If it's a problem for them that they need a blockchain domain to run a Web3 project, so I think what it would take for them to run a project using a crypto, and what will it take if they have to abandon Ethereum and take it on Solana or some other chain, right? If we can convince ourselves on these questions, we should know that these are no longer questions. And to myself, I don't encourage very much on the diamond hand to all the brand names, because uh, although there are no trademark law here, but these are still, we are squatting on some brand, which is not good. But we paid some money in advance, and I think it is reasonable to charge a fair, I always call it a late bird fee, to the brand, to let them get on board. And that fee, for example, maybe within 100 is for big companies, for giants like Nike, Adidas, and we're pretty sure they can afford, right? This is a very fair rate for them to get, into the game for being late. But for all the industrial names, for all the common names that has a general value to most peoples, then I think this is, we have no choice but to be a diamond hand, because the more people love this name, and the more people need this name, the value will be higher. So yeah, this will be more expensive than .com. And just compare the .com sold in the past, that history, and you can name or you can list your .es accordingly. And don't do too much, because 90%, over 95% of the names won't get sold, and only the top ones will have a market. So yeah, always quality over quantity. And yeah, I hope by this time tomorrow we can be in the process of celebrating the 2 million club. Thanks much.
Yeah, guys, I have an announcement before we call this thing a day. Ladies and gentlemen, we do this show every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to about 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm inviting everybody back again tomorrow as we celebrate 2 million domains registered, hopefully. Now, the special announcement is that we're going to be giving away a 5-digit ENS domain tomorrow in celebrations of reaching 2 million, and we're also going to be giving away a 4-digit ENS Arabic in regards to reaching a 2 million. And shout out, and that is courtesy to Brittany BJJ who donated that. So courtesy to them. I'll be making a tweet later on. But with that being said, y'all, this has been a phenomenal show. So much alpha. Go back and listen to the recording. Thank you to all the speakers. You guys did a phenomenal job today. And thank you, more importantly, to all the listeners. You guys are what make this show special. We don't talk to ourselves here. Well, we do talk to ourselves, but you guys listen to the conversation. So thanks, y'all. With that being said, man, 5159 is out. Wishing everybody blessings, love, prosperity, abundance, wealth, and the rest. Peace out, y'all.